Well, Stan, we got to be better shooting. You know, you and I talked about it. We went through after the Florida Gulf Coast Stetson swing at home. I mean, we didn't make shots, you know, and we have to be more consistent shooting the basketball, not just from the three-point line, more importantly from the free throw line. We were one of the worst free throw shooting teams in the country, and we got everybody back, so I got to fix that, right? And we were so good rebounding the ball on the offensive end. We got to take care of business on the defensive backboard a little bit better.
All three of your freshman guards are back, so they're seasoned, and then you bring in Colin Cooper as well. So you're pretty experienced at guard where it all starts.
I think so, and I think Leland Walker's taking a jump in the offseason. You know, I know I keep raving about Leland, but he deserves it. He's really changed his body. You saw flashes of brilliance out of Leland, where he had a burst and he had a great change of speed, and he could really, you know, come off a ball screen and make plays, but it wasn't consistent enough. And now you're seeing that every day, and I'm so excited for what he's prepared himself to do. And you know, Turner Buttrey, I told Turner the other day, you may be the best shooter I've ever seen. He'll never shoot for the percentages he shot last year. And now his stretch that he went on, that's how we beat Liberty in Florida Gulf Coast. I mean, he had a magical week. He really did. But he'll be much more consistent. And you know what you're going to get out of Tayshaun. You know, I think he was 8th in the country. I think KB among all freshmen in assists. He was just rock solid. He set an EKU record most games started by a freshman. He started 37 games as a freshman. And then you get Colin Cooper, who I'm blown away by that kid, not just as a player, but as a person. He's just fit into our locker room. Because, again, we've got so many guys back. Kids in this era of college basketball, they don't see this. They're used to so much change. Where you plug Colin and Pierce Thomas into a group that's been together, and the way they fit in is pretty remarkable.
I asked the three guys that were here at this ASUN event, and I haven't seen enough practices. I wish I had seen more. But the guy that's caught me as the most improved is John Ubalado.
It's the little things that he's doing now, playing off 2 feet. You know, he's much more fundamentally sound. He's making shots from the perimeter. But, you know, we challenged him in the offseason, and we sat down and we watched every single offensive clip he had all last year. And, you know, and I said, well, this is where we got to improve. And he took that challenge on, and he's really improved, and I'm proud of him because he can be a difference maker on the defensive end for us. He's so active, you know, and he can block shots. He gets his hands on so many balls. If his minutes could go up, that could really help us.
You just mentioned the last question I had, minutes. You got a deep team, an experienced team. How much of a minutes manager will you have to be? And do you do that by statistical look, or you do it by field? Do you do it by opponent? You know, take me through your.
You know, I think the players always decide the minutes. You know, I'm going to give you that cliche. You know, the players decide that, but it's not, hey, you're coming out because you take a bad shot. It's, hey, you're coming out because you're not sprinting back on transition defense. You're not crashing the offensive glass. You're not hitting your box outs. You know, it's those things that we get to hold them accountable for with so much depth that we have.
Finally, I said it was last question, one more. Coase was so good being the goalie back there last year. He's going to have to play more minutes till you get your depth rebuilt with the loss of the kid from Kosovo. But you were better. You weren't as gambling that I saw in defense last year, but you were effective full court. So do you play like you did last year full court, or do you sell out more because you're so depth? Tell me about what.
No, I don't.
Sell out may not be the right word. You understand?
No, yeah, absolutely. And Cozy's minutes will have to go up, but Cozy, if you look at us last year at the end of the year, you could predict that was coming. I mean, he had 31 and 17 in the game in the CBI, you know, but how Cozy affected our defensive presence, he was a game changer for us. You know, we still led the league in steals and forced turnovers, but we also led the league in blocks and defensive rebounds and offensive rebounds. So he's done so much for us that doesn't even show up on a stat sheet. You see it, Stotts. He just gets his hands on so many balls on both ends of the court. And I'm proud of him. I'm so excited that he's preseason Defensive Player of the Year. He was 4th in the country in block shots last year. Should have been Defensive Player of the Year last year. So that's an exciting award for him. But I'm really proud of Coz. I'm proud of the CBI did a lot for Cozy and for our team. Just our guys staying together and having that success at the end of the year. And then the confidence he got on the offensive end. Like Stotzy, we're throwing him the ball. We're running plays for him. I mean, he's shooting over 70% in live action this fall.
Anything else? One last one. You're touched on Coz being Defensive Player of the Year. Talk about Devontae being recognized as a preseason Player of the Year and what that means.
Listen, so when we got Tay, we had Wendell Green. He was part of that class with Cooper Robb, and that was a really strong class we brought in. Tay that year, that's when we were dealing with COVID. He got quarantined twice. Remember, back-to-back times. He didn't get COVID. He got contact traced twice, and it really slowed his freshman year down. But I would keep telling him, I said, Tay, you're going to be an all-conference player. I promise you. Because his IQ and his understanding of the game of basketball is through the roof. And then he's hungry. He's really he wants to be so good. I mean, he lives in the film room. He lives in the gym. And so for him to get that award it's pretty special because I know how hard he works. And I know, and you want to see him get rewarded by what they do in the off season. But I'm excited for what he's going to do this year because one of the things he's got to do better is he's got to make free throws. His sophomore year, before he broke his toe, he was shooting over 80% from the free throw line. And then last year he dipped under 70%. And if he improves there and gets back to the old Tay Blanton, he's a guy that could average 18 to 22 points. He's that good.